Have you written a bunch of incredible songs, but every time you share it with someone, you don't really get the response you're hoping for? I think this might be why. Thanks so much for tuning to another episode of the CIAS podcast. I'm your host, Brian, and in today's episode, we're talking about demos. And not only just demos, but 4 steps to make your demos sound great. Having a great sounding demo is the best way to give your song the chance to make the most impact. Now, true, a great song is a great song no matter the quality. But there are so many songs being written and recorded every day that in order for our songs to have the best chance to be heard and rise to the top, they have to sound good from the beginning. So that means whether you're pitching it to a publisher, whether you're pitching to an artist, or even for your own artistry, those songs that have the better sounding demos are always going to be taken more seriously and have the best chance of being used and pushed to the next level. There could be so many different approaches to recording a great sounding demo, but on this video, I wanted to talk through the 4 steps that can make any demo sound great, no matter what the approach. So when you take the time to make your song sound great, it will always stand out. It'll sit at the top of the pile. And like my father-in-law always says, the cream will always rise to the top. So I'm so excited to jump in and talk about these 4 steps to help you make your demo sound great. And the first step is the song. It has to be a great song. Now, does that mean it has to be a #1 hit to produce a great sounding demo? Absolutely not. But a great song is not something that just happens. It comes through the effort. So, like I've said many times, the quote, great songs aren't written, great songs are rewritten. So, when it comes time to you to consider from your batch of songs what you're going to do the demo for, it's so vital to go in and make sure that it says exactly what you want it to say. Now, greatness is, of course, subjective. So, we always want to push ourselves to do the best that we can. Make the song say the things we want to be said. And we want to communicate those things because once we start to put in the effort to making the demo sound great, that song is going to be heard by other people. That's the entire purpose of doing a demo. So we want to make sure that that song represents where we are and what we're trying to communicate through our music. Because yes, production can absolutely elevate, and it does elevate music to the next level. When you have the foundation of the great song, that will ultimately be the barometer that will make your demo great. So that's why it's the first step in making great demos. And number 2 is keep it simple. So many of us are, I think, intimidated to jump in and start to record demos because we compare our demo to stuff we hear on the radio or on big playlists. And that is not the case at all in demos. So my philosophy is to keep the lowest track count possible. Now, that doesn't mean that we just don't do anything because we just want it to be bare bones, but the more simple tracking we have, the better each element can stand out and represent the song cleanly. So if you're a piano player or a guitarist, just start there. Just put in your piano part that you are confident in playing, or same goes for acoustic guitar or electric guitar. Just start with the most basic representation of the song because then each element counts more and there's less distraction because especially with a demo, this is sort of a pre-production phase. So you're not really needing to necessarily work out the entire vision for the song yet. You're just trying to get a clean recording that's shareable and pitchable. And I believe keeping it simple is a really important part of creating great sounding demos. And before we jump into point number 3, if you could do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That's the best way for this video and channel to reach other indie artists doing the same thing as you, and I would appreciate it so much. And the third step in creating great demos is having great vocals. Now, if you're like me, you create music with vocals. And in that case, the vocal is the most important part of the process. It is the language in which we can communicate the passion and emotion behind the songs. Now, sure, musically we do that too, but if it has lyrics, then the vocal is the main communicator of the song. So with that, we're not all singers. We're not all professional singers. If we're not able to do it ourselves, we probably know someone in our circle who can do so. And if you don't, jump into the CIAS Facebook group. There's a ton of amazing singers in there that I've personally brought in singers to projects that I've produced demos for people, and they do a great job in communicating the vocal there. Having a great sounding vocal is so key. We all know, we all heard those amazing singers, and we get so caught up in the emotional delivery of the song and just the way that they do it, the notes they can hit, the vibratos, and all those amazing things that great singers can do. It brings you into the song, and you might be like, what are they even saying? I don't even know. I don't even care. You know, the old saying that they can sing the phone book. It's because their vocal is so strong that they know how to do that. And that's a sign. Beyond just the ability to sing well, a great singer knows how to emote properly, knows how to lean into certain notes, knows the rhythmic aspect, and of course the pitch and all the other technical things that go into singing well. But if you have a great song with a simple arrangement and an incredible vocal, it will always stand out. It will always get the most attention and have the greatest potential to land, because having a great vocal is a huge part of having great demos. And number 4 in creating great sounding demos is having a clean mix. I know that a lot of us are tempted to put huge reverbs and delays and all these effects that are awesome, but I feel that just ends up clouding up our simple mix, especially if we're going through this formula where we're kind of starting off with a great song and having a simple track and a great vocal. There's not a lot going on, so we don't need to add all these spatial effects, because I'm a huge fan of reverbs and delays, but those are intended to create space and dimension within your track. But if you have a simple arrangement, you don't necessarily need that. Now, sure, we're going to have some reverbs, we're going to have some delays, especially on the vocals, to give them the more realistic in-the-room sound, because ultimately that's what these things are for. Because when we record in, we're recording in dry, we're recording in, it's not a real sense of the room, so reverbs help bring some of that back, but we don't want to overdo it, because so many times we have a great song and a great recording, but then there's so much saturation, there's so much stuff happening that it just becomes a kind of a big mess. So we don't want to do that, because that pulls it away from sounding professional, and ultimately the thing that we're trying to do to add interest ends up just becoming a distraction and pulls the listener away from hearing the song for what it is. So that's why having a clean mix is so crucial to creating great demos. And I know that some of this stuff might come across as like, I don't know how to do that, I just need a producer to help me with that, and that's true, and there's a ton of great producers out there, and I personally would be happy and glad to talk to you about producing your demos. But also, if you are interested in recording and you have maybe a simple setup, or you want to know how to get into that, I have a course called the Logic Pro X for Artists and Songwriters course, which is a full music production course, which, yes, the course does cover the entire process of a full arrangement, but also in the first few videos, it covers the demo process of how to create a simple demo, because I go through each step of the process. So we start off with the setting up the session, but then we do simple things like adding in a pad and adding in acoustic guitar, then piano, and then vocals. So just out of that, you could be creating a great sounding professional demo from the course. So if you're interested in that, click the link below. So I hope seeing that these 4 steps helps give you clarity and really pulls the curtain back on how it's not that difficult to create a professional sounding demo that will help your song make the most impact and ultimately get the most reach, because when it sounds good, it's going to stand out of the crowd. It's going to rise to the top, and it's going to help give your song the best chance to be heard. And it doesn't take that much. Making sure that your song is great and you've worked out all the lyrics, you worked out all the melodies, and it's exactly how you want it to be, and then doing a simple demo arrangement. Nothing crazy. You don't need to add full orchestras and full percussion arrangements and big guitars. Sure, you can do that. That's honestly how I started to do this, is when I first started doing production myself, I would record simple acoustic mainly arrangements. And then over time I was like, well, hey, it's already in a session. It's already to a click. What if I just start embellishing and just start building the arrangement? And then that's what led me to doing the full productions. And that's the exact same thing for you. If you go in and just do a simple piano vocal arrangement, 6 months down the road, whenever you wanted to, you can go back in and start building upon the arrangement. And next thing you know, you have a full arrangement, but it kind of all started with that clean sounding demo. But because you took the time to record that demo and you made it sound good, it's always kind of there, and it's a reminder, like, the basic song is there and I can build on it from there. And like I said too, if you need any help with that, we have the course. Just click the link below and check that out, because I know for me, getting a chance to walk through every step of the process really helps to get one method from start to finish. So just by putting in the little bit of extra effort to take your song from the work tape to a pro setting demo can make all the difference. It's worth the time and resource and effort. Whether you're doing it yourself or you're hiring someone to help you with it, that time investment will always come back to you in a big way. Having the demo is the best way to make sure that your song can have a chance to get out there and impact people. So I want to know, are you recording your own demos, or are you partnering with producers to help you do that? Comment below and let me know. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. And I will see you next Friday at 5 a.m. on the CIAS podcast.